Hey y'all, you are tuned in to the Powerhouse Lash Podcast. This podcast is my diary to the lash community where I share my highs, lows, lessons, and rants based on my lash journey. My heart is to share the reality of what it's really like to build a lash business, and I hope this episode helps you feel seen, validated, educated, humored, and makes your lash journey a little bit easier. I'm your host, T the Brand, and I'm glad that you're here. Now, let's get to it. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Powerhouse Lash Podcast. If this is your first time hearing an episode of this podcast, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and tuning in with me. I am T the Brand, and I am the host of this podcast. In this episode, I'm going to talk about something that I have recently experienced, and I'm sure we all experience in our lash businesses or whatever business that you may have and own if you do. And that is when clients are not satisfied. Now, this can be for a number of reasons. You can have a number of reactions or responses. Your clients may not all respond the same way to being dissatisfied with the service or whatever from their experience with you, but how you handle it with the client, how you handle it for yourself, how you take precautions to prevent any situations as such is super important. And so I'm going to share what I do to try to prevent clients from being dissatisfied and what I do when clients are dissatisfied. So, I have an episode on how I do my client consultations. And in that episode, I explain how thorough I am when I'm doing these consultations. I have a lot of new clients who tell me that they have never gone through such a process before they get their lashes done, because when they first get in my lash room, I'm asking them questions about, or I remind them, I know you're getting a volume or a hybrid, whatever kind of set that they booked, but I want them to be in the details of their own lashes because I'm not the one who has to wear them. And with new clients, I really don't like to experiment unless they just don't know at all what they want. But I want them to be in control of what their lashes come out and look like. So during that consultation process, we're also talking about lash lengths. And of course, a lot of clients don't know the difference between a 10 millimeter and a 14 millimeter. Like, all of that is foreign. So I actually show my clients what they look like. I'll ask them, well, do you want to go short, medium, long? And then depending on what they say, I show them lengths that I have put within those categories. And from the lengths that they see, I allow them to pick the longest length that they want. And then from there, I'm able to map the rest of the set based on the longest length and how we're styling them. We talk about styles. Some clients, some new clients, they've had extensions before and they know, okay, I like a open eye or I like a cat eye or whatever the styling may be. So I always put that out there and ask my clients just in case. But at the same time, I'm analyzing their eye shape. So if you have an almond eye, then cool, we can rock with whatever you want to do. But if you have monolids and, which is basically like a hooded eye or really small eyes, okay, we could do a cat eye or something dramatic, but it would be best if we do an open eye or a doll eye set to make your eyes appear more open. We talk about lash curls. If you have eyes that are kind of like, I don't want to say sunken in, but eyes that are kind of like sunken in. Okay, we need to go with, I know you don't want this kind of curl, but we need to go with a curl that is not going to make your eyes look like they're like sitting further back into your face and, help your eyes pop. And just all of the things that we should know as lash artists that our clients may not be aware of. So making sure that you are really thorough in that consultation process. I even show them lash curls, to explain the difference between the curls, because again, they're the ones who have to wear it. So once I go through this very thorough process and the service gets started, I do my best to make the lashes look how we talked about making them look. Usually my clients are satisfied. I hardly ever have clients who have complaints, don't like their lashes. Yeah, that's just, and I'm thankful for that because it could be a completely different way. You know, some lash artists have a hard time with clients, or some clients are just really hard to satisfy. So I'm going to get into a recent experience that I have had and how I kind of handled it, I guess. So I had a new client come in, and she, before she came in, you know, we talked on Instagram. She scheduled for a mega volume set, and she sent me a video. She sent me one of my reels that I had shared, just confirming that that set was mega volume because that's what she wanted to go for. So cool. When she comes in, I know we're doing mega volume and we're talking about all the things. But then when she comes in, she has a picture, and pictures are, when you come in, that's the best time to send a picture. Well, the second best time. The first best time for a client to send a picture is when they see the picture and know that that's what they want. So that you can make the adjustments and y'all can talk things over and so on and so forth. So she shows me a picture of like a wispy set, and you know, she acknowledges that it is a wispy set, but she still wants the mega volume. So her thing was, you know, she just didn't want to have like one length straight across the eye. Cool, we can mix some lengths in and, you know, give it your lashes a little personality. And she wanted a cat eye, which was nothing like the picture that she showed me. And I'm like, okay, so cat eye, mega volume, mix the lengths in there. Cool. And then I think we went with when I asked about curls, you know, she let me know I wear like a mix of a C and a D. And I'm like, okay, bet. So we can go with a CC curl. And she's like, okay, cool. So I show her the lengths in the CC curl and everything. And we're on the same page. We rocking. So once the service is over, and this is always a thing with new clients, you just never know how they're gonna really feel, how they're gonna react to their lashes, because it's their first time coming to you, and they may see your pictures and like your pictures, but it's important for clients to know that their lashes aren't going to look how a picture looks. There are so many things that come into play, like their eye shape. If their eye shape isn't exactly like the person in the pictures, it's gonna look different on them. The style that they're getting, the lengths that they're getting, the fullness or volume that they're getting. So making sure that we really explain to our clients, even when they show us a picture, it may not look exactly like this because everybody's eyes aren't the same. And then of course we're making alterations to customize, you know, the set to for you and what, you know, is best for your eye and what you like and blah blah. So it always like puts me in a, oh my God, I don't know how this is gonna go kind of state when I'm getting ready to give my clients the mirror for them to look at their lashes, because just because it looks good to me, that doesn't mean that it's gonna look good to them. And it's really just kind of like, you know, either we did it or we didn't kind of thing. And so I give my client the mirror, and immediately I can sense that she ain't feeling these lashes. And so again, I never have that happen. I can't say when the last time I had a client who was not satisfied with the look of their lashes. So that really you know, scares me, and it made me feel like, oh my God, what am I, you know, what are we supposed to do? But she's looking at her lashes, she's quiet, so I have to ask, you know, well, what are you thinking? And she tells me that she's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, oh God. And so I guess one of the spikes or one of the fans that had a longer length on one eye wasn't in the exact same place as the other eye. And I'm like, okay, you know, um doing this with my hands, there's no machine, your eyes are different. Well, not your eyes are different, but you know, one eye can be shaped one way, one eye can have way more natural lashes than the other eye, especially in some areas. So, you know, we just as lash artists, we doing what we can do with what we got. And yeah, so another thing, she was like, well, maybe it's because they're all clumped together. And so I'm a like top tier isolator. So I knew that she didn't mean isolate the isolation, but how full they were. And I'm like, yo, this is mega volume. And on the website, the mega volume lets you know, I have it on there for you to know, like, this is like super full coverage. So I didn't really know, what to say about that. Like, they're not clumped, they're just really full, and that's what you asked for. But I didn't put that on her. I'm very careful to not make the client feel like they have done something wrong or it's their fault, because it's not exactly, I guess, anybody's fault. It's just not totally all on the artist either. That's what I'm gonna say. It's not totally all on the artist if you went through that process with the consultation being thorough and just making sure that you know what your client wants and your client knows what you're going to do. If it doesn't turn out how they pictured it in their head, then that does suck. But if we talked about it and explained it, and I did what, or you did what the client, which y'all agreed upon, then you just kind of got to move on from there, because you did your part. And I don't want that to sound insensitive, but it's real. Like, if you did everything you could do, then you did everything that you could do. So um I could tell that she wasn't satisfied, well, that she really was over it when she was like, "Well, okay, well, thank you." And she, got up, she tipped me. I let her know about, pre-booking, or if she wanted to book a field, she could let me know, because that's what I would do with any client. If a client loves their lashes, I'm gonna share with them information about booking fields and all the things. And same with the client who doesn't. I'm gonna still share the same information, because you may just have to, it may not be, oh, I hate these lashes forever. It may be something different that you tried, that the client tried, and they just have to get used to it. Or when their lashes start to shed, their natural lashes start to shed, and the extensions are not so full, they can see, okay, maybe mega volume isn't for me, but I like the volume look. Or volume not for me, I can do a hybrid light volume look. So just kind of still letting them know what options that they have, just in case they spin the block and change their mind. So after that appointment was over, I had so many emotions. Like, I was kind of upset and my feelings were kind of hurt, but I had to keep myself reminded, as I've been saying, that if I did everything that I knew to do, like literally everything, through the consultation, through the map, with the mapping, like I did literally everything that I knew to do, and there was nothing that I could have done different. And when I get to that point, or when I realize like there was nothing that I could have done different, then I have to work on giving myself grace, because everybody's not gonna like my work, everybody's not gonna like your work, and that's just that. Everybody isn't meant to be your client. Everybody isn't meant to, yeah, get your services for whatever it is that you may do. And for clients who don't like what you're doing but continue to come back, um it depending on how the relationship turns out or unfolds, and depending on how the client makes you feel after you continue doing their services, that'll determine if you should or should not keep the client. I do believe in firing clients. That's a whole nother episode, and we'll talk about that then. But um yeah, I don't think you should just jump and fire a client just because they're dissatisfied. So yeah, just making sure that you stay tactful at all times. Don't go to social media venting and ranting about it. This episode, I'm recording this like weeks after this situation has happened, because when it first happened, I was extremely emotional, and I did get on and record the episode, but ooh, it was not pretty, and it did not give the anything that I wanted it to give. So making sure that you take time to actually calm down and process, reflect, and give yourself grace and room to breathe before you share whatever you've experienced. I don't believe that social media is the place to share your experiences with clients anyway, because you just don't want to share things that may be offensive to some clients. Anything that's on social media, I just believe it should be of what you do, why people need you, educating, giving value. Like, yeah, I think the funny reels and all of that are cool, but your page should give value. People should know that you know what you're talking about, and they should be able to learn to trust you through social media. And that's how you build clientele, but that's not what this is about. So I'm gonna wrap this episode up, but just to recap, on some tips to help you avoid situations where clients are dissatisfied. Make sure that you have policies in place. Be very clear, very thorough in your policies. Encourage your clients to read policies every chance you get. Put it on the front page of your booking site, or have a drop down on your website if you have a website. Make sure that you have it in your confirmation emails, confirmation text messages, so that they can't say they didn't know, they didn't see. Put it in your consent form. Make them check a box that says, hey, I read all your policies. I agree and I understand. And if they didn't actually read all the policies, that kind of falls back on them. Make sure that you do thorough consultations. Explain everything. Show your clients the different curls. Show them the different lengths. Tell them what you can and what you can't do. Like, be real with your clients and be very thorough, so that you guys can be on the same page. Execute the look to the best of your ability. Like, yeah, do the best that you can. That's really all that you have and all that you can do. And then if you end up in a situation to where you have a client who a client who is not happy, um you just have to make sure that you deliver your responses in a very tactful, in a very professional and still supportive way of them. Um, I want to add one more thing. If clients ask for a refund because they didn't like what they got, for me personally, I will not issue a refund. And the reason being is because I have this extremely thorough process, and I followed this extremely thorough process. You just didn't like the outcome, but I still performed a service. That was still my time. That was still my supplies. And yeah, no, we're not refunding. We're not refunding that. If they would like a removal, I will offer them a free removal, just so that you don't add fuel to a fire. I'll do their removal for free. That only takes like what, maybe 30 minutes to do. And that's not even real hard manual work when you're doing a full set removal. So it's up to you how you want to handle refunds, but you have to make sure again that you have all of your policies and consent forms, and your consultation is A1, so that your clients know, like, okay, we really did go through this thorough process and I just didn't like it in the end. So stay professional, stay tactful, give yourself grace. Remember that everybody isn't going to like you and what you do, and that's fine, because the people who are for you and the people who do love your services are going to be right there to support you and to help you continue to grow as an artist. So I hope that this episode was helpful. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the review section. Send me a DM on Instagram. Y'all, if you are eating from this podcast, let me know. Write a review on the podcast. I really appreciate it. I want to know what you guys are thinking, how you guys are feeling about the content that I'm sharing on this platform. This is new for me. I love it, and I want to know if you love it too. So that is all for this episode. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch y'all in the next one.